From Seinfeld's Frank Costanza to Parks and Recreation's Tammy 2, plenty of hilarious sitcom side characters have stolen the show. They say that there are no small parts, only small actors, and that's clearer than ever in the sitcom genre, where an actor with a couple of lines in a couple of episodes can overshadow the entire main cast. Sitcoms couldn't survive without their main characters. Veep is carried by the unscrupulous Selena Meyer, Family Guy is carried by the Griffin family, and the Mary Tyler Moore Show is carried by, well, Mary Tyler Moore. But Uncle Jeff, Mayor West, and Sue and Nivens are among the funniest characters in those shows, and they are only in a few episodes. Sometimes, side characters make their shows even better. Silicon Valley wouldn't be as funny without Russ Hanneman. Modern Family wouldn't be as funny without Pepper Saltzman. From 2.5 Men's Evelyn Harper to Curb Your Enthusiasm's Leon Black, these are the funniest side characters in sitcom history. Doug Judy. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Doug Judy is easily the best recurring villain in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Dubbed the Pontiac Bandit, he's the most lovable car thief in New York City. Over the course of the series, Judy developed an uneasy 48 hours style alliance with Detective Jake Peralta. Jake is torn between his devotion to upholding the law and his love for Judy. Craig Robinson shares terrific on-screen chemistry with Andy Samberg in this endlessly endearing dynamic. Every time Jake wants to believe that Judy has changed, he ends up betraying him and going back to his criminal ways. Mayor Adam West. Family Guy. Family Guy borrowed a lot from The Simpsons, but it put its own twist on most of the tropes. Quahog has a crooked mayor who keeps getting re-elected, just like Springfield, but Quahog's mayor is Batman actor Adam West. After Batman, West was typecast as a campy, hammy superhero, but Family Guy gave him the chance to play against type. Mayor West might be the wackiest character in Family Guy, and that's saying a lot. Everything that comes out of his mouth is a random, out-of-pocket non sequitur. He's also hinted to be a sociopath who knows exactly what he's doing and puts on a wacky facade to mask murderous rage. Justine Sikowicz. Superstore. Just about everyone who worked at Cloud 9 in Superstore was a hilarious character, but Justine stole every scene she was in. She affects the persona of a raging party girl to seem interesting, but it's constantly being pointed out to her that she's not interesting. Kelly Schumann nailed every line delivery and slapstick gag. Every time Justine makes a crass joke, she's the only one who laughs, everyone else just groans, but Justine is always pleased with herself. She latches onto random catchphrases and she claims all her friends live in Manhattan, which is why they're never around. Russ Hanneman. Silicon Valley. Even when Richard Hendricks is iced out and blackballed by every other investor in town, he can always count on Russ Hanneman for support. Russ is a brash billionaire obsessed with his 3 status, which way his car doors open, and constantly juggling lawsuits from nannies. Chris Diamantopoulos seemed to be having the time of his life in this role. He stole every scene he was in with Russ' manic motormouth energy. From the moment he said, "This guy F***KS, Russ was in the Silicon Valley Hall of Fame. Evelyn Harper. 2.5 Men. 2.5 Men is a story about 2 estranged brothers, carefree bachelor Charlie and uptight, eager to please Alan, reconnecting after Alan's wife kicks him out and he has to move in with Charlie. When we met their cold, overbearing mother Evelyn, it became clear as day why they ended up the way they are. Evelyn's cruel, detached parenting left Charlie unable to form emotional bonds with women and left Alan desperate for women's approval. Holland Taylor shared great chemistry with her on-screen sons and nailed her delivery of every ruthlessly cutting one-liner. Mr. Gilbert. The In-Betweeners. For a high school show, the In-Betweeners didn't spend a lot of time at the school itself. But whenever the boys were at school, you could count on Mr. Gilbert swooping in to steal the scene. Greg Davies drew on his own real-life experiences as a teacher to play Mr. Gilbert as a nasty F***cur who doesn't take any guff from his students. Mr. Gilbert is an absurdly unprofessional teacher who swears at his students, laughs at their misfortune, and doesn't really care about his job. His dynamic with Will was endlessly hilarious, because Will is his exact opposite. Beaver's. Broad City. One of the best running gags in Broad City was that we never saw Abby's roommate Melody, but Melody's boyfriend Matt Beavers was always around. Every time Abby came home, she found Beavers gaming on her couch. He spent so much time on her couch that he developed a couch sore. John Gemberling is perfect in this role. He plays Beavers as the kind of guy you'd hate in real life, but is absolutely hilarious as a character in the show. Sue and Nivens. The Mary Tyler Moore Show. Before she would become a national treasure with her role in The Golden Girls, Betty White stole the Mary Tyler Moore Show as recurring antagonist Sue Ann Nivens. White drew a hilarious parallel between Sue Ann's fake persona on the air and her true evil nature off the air. As the host of The Happy Homemaker, Sue Ann is warm, gentle, kind, unwaveringly perky, and helpful to a fault. But off-screen, she's a terror who causes all kinds of problems for Mary Richards. Carl Weathers' Arrested Development. It's always funny when a celebrity plays themselves and mocks their own public persona, but it can be just as funny if their on-screen self-parody has nothing to do with their public image. Carl Weathers played himself as Tobias' acting coach in Arrested Development, and his role had nothing to do with being an iconic 80s action hero. Instead, Weathers played himself as ridiculously frugal, constantly on the lookout for a money-saving loophole or a free meal. Whether he was bragging about inexpensive stew recipes or cutting a sponsorship deal with Burger King, Weathers fully committed to the bit. Flight of the Conchords. The titular band in Flight of the Conchords only has one fan, but she's a dangerously obsessed, almost Annie Wilkes-level superfan. Before she was best known for playing Louise Belcher, Kristen Schaal first came onto a lot of comedy fans' radar when she played Mel. Brett and Jermaine handle Mel's obsession with their usual detached drollness. They're friendly to Mel, despite being a little scared of her, and they're really nice to her husband, Doug, even when she has instructed him not to talk to the band Butters Stotch South Park. Butters Stotch is the sweetest kid in South Park, and the ingenious conceit of the character is that he's the one who finds himself in the darkest situations. He's the one with abusive parents, he's the one who becomes a pimp, and he's the one who gets sold to Paris Hilton as a pet. When Kenny was permanently killed off, for a season, there was only one suitable replacement in the central quartet. Butters is the only other kid from South Park Elementary who's made as big of an impression on the fan base as the core four. Ben Chang Community. When Community began, Senor Chang was introduced as the study group's Spanish teacher. But as the series went on, the character abandoned the confines of that role and became increasingly unhinged. He eventually recruited a squad of preteen security guards dubbed the Shanglurious Bastards to watch over Greendale Community College.